people who have been to high school with pornsters. Who was it and did you expect them to become a pornstar? I graduated with Andy Sandias. We didn't hang in the same circle, but we were friends with a lot of the same people. She had a reputation for being an idiot. TBH, her doing P wasn't really a surprise, but I was a little taken aback with how violent the films she made were. Sandias high school football rules. Darcy Dolce was in my grade. Had senior year English with her and she wore 80s workout looking clothing every day. Was pretty sick actually. She asked the teacher if lava lamps have real lava in them. Okay, this girl is new to me and looks shockingly like my cousin. I'm going to go forget this name and image forever. I used to bartend with Victoria Ray Black. I had zero idea that she was working in P until I stumbled upon one of her videos and very nearly shat my pants when I realized it was her. You know how you daydream about that hot co-worker? Wonder what they look like naked or how they'd be in bed? Well, I don't have to daydream or wonder, and it's awesome. Very nearly shat my pants. I can relate. I once found my employer's daughter in a lesbo scene. Pretty awkward for him if he knew the guy who he just handed a paycheck to is going home to jack off to his daughter. Munching rug. His daughter has a weird name. I had a friend in high school, super nice guy, who came out during college and became a pretty well-known gay pornstar. He FB spammed all of his friends with a link to support his career. I thought it was just modeling at first but turned out to be an ad for his P stuff. As weird as it was to see my friend's junk, I was surprised to find it wasn't really that big. It was a proud day in this Asian's life to say I was bigger than a well-known gay P star. Just want to quickly plug, that Asians don't have smaller dongs than other races. Average for all races is somewhere between 5.1-5.5 inches. Haha, downvote all you want. Sorry that the truth can't appeal to your insecurity. I went to high school with Bryn Tyler. She was a senior when I was freshman. Her younger brother was one of my best friends in high school. He caught a lot of flack for it and had borderline PTSD over it. Never expected it, but it's cool to be able to say that I can. I went to college with a girl who was ranked in the 700s on Pornhub. Her rank has since fallen quite a bit. She was about 5 feet tall and she was cute but not jaw-dropping. Then I saw her videos and they're hot AF. Made me realize 1. How much P distorts things, and 2. You never know who is a total freaking freak. Yep, I found a adult tape my buddy and his GF made on Pornhub. Unfortunately I forgot the name and I can't just ask him what his adult tape is called because that would be way too awkward. So the search goes on. Not a pornstar, but this girl I used to work with at a movie theater did a run on Backroom Casting Couch. I hate myself for watching it. We need links, people. Links, damn it. Not the same as a P star, I know, but my husband went to school with a girl who turned out to be a stripper at a nightclub. He went with some friends for a bachelor weekend and at the club they looked up and there she was pole dancing. He said they weren't really surprised though as she had quite a wild reputation in school. Same story, except my husband said her real name out of shock and almost got us kicked out. I had a friend in high school whose mom was outed as a P star. She ended up making bank off it when her husband was fired from Chick-fil-A and the local country club kicked them out. They sued the heck out of both and opened up a chain of adult stores that seem to have done pretty well. Sucked for the kids though. They never really acted the same after being bullied non-stop for it. I don't think the mom does P anymore. I went to school with, name redacted, who ended up going by the stage name Claire Obbins. She was super chill, cute, and I never thought about whether or not she'd become a P star. I used to have a crush on her back then, but after watching her videos with the over-the-top fake moans and generic P acting, that's definitely faded. No judgment on her. That's what a lot of people want to see in their studio-produced P, but it never did it for me. Her specialty seems to be interracial DP scenes as well, and I like to imagine myself as fricking the star, so it's tough to suspend my disbelief enough to see myself as having a gigantic black dong. Upon further research it appears she played a grit in Game of Bones. Oh yeah, I liked her earlier work. I don't know about her newer stuff though. I know a few who went into the business. One was shy, barely talked, close with a few friends, etc. which finding out that she was a stripper who eventually made some really crappy videos and that she started camming was a bit of a surprise. But then again, she got quite deep into the drug scene. She was popping pills, alcohol and doing lines last time I seen her, and dropped about 150 lb. The other wasn't surprising at all. I went to school with a girl who is now pretty successful in kink videos, latex fetish stuff and the like. She was always pretty quiet but dressed extremely goth, so I can't say I'm surprised. Nope, but found out a kid on my baseball team when I was younger his mum is, and she's still active in my hometown. Not my type. I knew a suicide girl, Salus Suicide. We had one of those strange fleeting relationships where I, for one, certainly didn't know what I was doing. I'd have never guessed she'd have gone into the adult industry, but I always found her attractive, so shrug. Maya Bijou is my friend's cousin. Before she was known for P worldwide, she was known for having some dude killed at a house party for insulting her. Holy crap. I went to high school with stage name Alex Gray, Twitter @AlexGray, Instagram @ZalexGray. I didn't expect her to become a P-star, but she was always nice. She introduced me to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Her stage name is a homage to the psychedelic artist Alex Gray. It was a Gwen Stark. She was a mutual friend that was involved in the church I went to. I found out because she was suddenly posting very racy pictures on Facebook and she was posting under a different name. A good ole Google search revealed her Pornhub page. I never thought she would get into P, but she seems happier now than before, except her entire family and most of her friends have cut her out of their lives. I actually know 3 people in HS who did P. Here's the first one. When I was a senior in HS, I sat near this dude who would constantly ask me for help. He was a good looking guy and was in a relationship with a beautiful blonde girl who also went to my school. We never hung out outside of school, but he was always nice to me. We would see each other outside of school during sporting events and at the library or grocery store, etc. And he would always make it a point to say hello. Just a generally wholesome type of guy. We even saw each other at a couple of the same parties. I'm sure if either of us reached out to hang out that we probably would have, but it just didn't happen. We both ended up going to the same community college and shared a couple of the same gen ed classes. Imagine my surprise, about 6 months into classes, when I saw him in a P. It was a fairly well-known P production company. It was pretty awkward to watch, not only because I knew him, but because he wasn't really good. He eventually told me about it, and I played dumb like I had no idea. He also told me he was addicted to C and proceeded to ask me for money. Then he casually asked me if I wanted to frick. I did not take that offer. Honestly, I never expected this guy to be a porn star. A huge number of P stars are addicted to C. I only remember his real name, not his stage name, so won't say for privacy reasons. But it was a huge surprise. He was a quiet, kinda scrawny, kinda geeky kid in high school. Average looking, didn't have very many friends. He is ridiculously good looking now, has definitely hit the gym, does gay P and also performs at major pride festivals. And I say good for him. High school can really be heck for closeted LGBT kids, and he seems like he's become the person he was meant to be. Weirdly wholesome. Tiff Bannister. Growing up when I was maybe 13 or 14, 8 years ago, when everyone started getting Facebook cause it was cool, she was posting bra and thong pics. Everyone would constantly say she's going to grow up and be a stripper or porn star. Oddly enough, she became a porn star and is kind of famous in South Jersey. She was seen last summer down the shore near Wildwood, NJ, and she was followed by a big crowd taking pictures. Fans. Never heard of her, but I live a couple minutes from Wildwood. Looks like I'm going to have to get to googling. Went to college with Lexus Adams. Not exactly a star, but she got pretty famous from being a meme. Partied with her a couple times. Does not surprise me at all she went into the industry. Shared a math class with Kimberly Briggs. Found out she did P. Thought that makes sense and proceeded to whack it to her. I just find out that a girl from my high school is now a porn star after a friend told me. Had to do my own research and sure enough it's her. She didn't talk to many people in high school. She was kinda bitchy and had an alternative art vibe style. Can't say I'm surprised. Can't say I'm not surprised. It's more of a makes sense situation. How do you expect us to eat this pasta without any sauce, bro? I dated Nikki K for like a week and a half and then she broke up with me because she thought I was cheating on her. She became a stripper after she moved and then it all went from there. I went to middle school with alien love. I didn't really know her, but she dated a friend of mine. I found out when I reconnected with him on FB a few years ago. He told me she was a freak. My favorite P-star by far. She is so dang hot. An elementary school friend of mine who I was once close with did several amateur P videos. I found out when I googled her to see what she was up to, and apparently someone had created a website called Don't Hire, full name redacted.com, and posted amateur P videos and accused her of having several loathsome diseases. Thankfully, the site has since been taken down. Sounds like a revenge P type thing. Guy from my high school did gay P. He actually got picked on a lot for being an idiot, but I didn't know him. He didn't even try to hide it, would joke about it on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure he was gay for pay initially. Different girl from my high school was a cam girl for a decade and is now in prison. Nobody was surprised about either of those things. Yeah, guy from my HS and next door neighbor is a pretty big gay pornster. He's G4P and has an incredibly good looking girlfriend. I went to high school with a girl who said she wanted to go into P, but IDK if she ever actually did it. Anyone know of any pornsters named Miasha? Girl I went to school with ended up becoming an old model when she started dating some creepy photographer older than her. Her sister is an opera singer and was on a British talent show before it became rubbish. Younger sister actually got featured in our local paper for her nude scenes in Game of Thrones. Then my buddy shows me a video of her with hairy pits. Semi-stash humiliating a guy. Just now. Photographer. I went to Chaparral in Las Vegas. It was just assumed that a number of girls would choose that. However, this Josie Grossi girl really went for it. Full makeover tattoos, everything. I thought Mojave would have had the lion's share of P actresses though. A girl I dated in high school got into P while she was living in LA working at a daycare. She's not a famous one. Just did some videos for Reality Kings. I think she stopped fairly quickly and the daycare found out about it and fired her. Now, I don't know what she's up to. I'm not saying her name, but she and I did date for a short time. I found out she was a P star a few years after high school from a mutual friend and I hope she stepped her game up. I went to high school with Karina Jaden. She was relatively popular. Hung out with her a few times with some other friends, and a close friend of mine had a short fling with her. That same friend called me up a few years after we graduated and told me to look up Karina Jaden, not her real name obviously, on some P site, and I had a good laugh when I saw who it was. Not exactly pornster, but she did a lot of stuff that wasn't supposed to be put online. About 10 years ago, a friend from high school had a bad falling out with her boyfriend and she literally packed her bags up and moved to the literal other side of the country. A few years later she comes home and absolutely refuses to tell anyone what she was doing out there. She had a massive amount in her bank account, slightly over 100k, and refused to tell anyone how she got it. A friend of a friend messaged me out of the blue with a link to an obscure site that's no longer online, asking me if the girl looked familiar, and lo and behold, it was her. Turns out she decided to be a squeeze toy for a convent. Some of us believes a cult. She basically sold herself for a year-long convent cult frickfest. No one really had the heart to tell her that it was put online, and it's no longer available, and we can't find anything else about it. But man, did she do some fricked up crap. I went to high school with a punster named Brooklyn Gray. She was at the time underage and was fricking the married drama tech teacher. To make the long story short, her mom found out and took her out of school. Now she does P. I didn't expect her to become a pornster. BC she moved away to go to art school, but I wasn't surprised. I feel sad for her. Not BC she does P. I don't have a problem WP work, but BC she was being abused by the drama teacher and that could be a reason she gave up her passion for dance and art and just does P now. Not to mention she does intense scenes with P and other stuff. I knew a girl that did some camp shows and I think she had some posts on Reddit as well. Honestly, I don't like calling people S or whatever, but it wasn't super surprising. She was a cutie for sure. I went to high school with a girl that I was pretty good friends with for a couple of years. After a little while she drifted away from our friend group and we never talked or heard from her for a couple of years. Then one day my friends came across her on Reddit. She is a cam girl now and her name is Cladelta. I just asked my friend because no one from my high school is a P-star and she was high school friends with Carmen Kayleen. She was a nice and fun girl but no one ever thought that she'd become a P-star. She got a BF and stopped P but he dumped her and now she's back in P. Not as popular as she was before their BF though. I got a phone call from a friend of mine about 2 years after we graduated high school to tell me that one of our mutual friends was doing gay P. My first reaction was disbelief because this wasn't the type of guy I would have expected would do something like that. I would describe him as a real ladies' man. The weirdest part about it all though was the P name he used, which was the exact same name as another one of our mutual friends. Obviously he didn't take that news well. So I found out in a pretty weird way. I moved away from my hometown for 13 years, ran into a buddy of mine, and started chatting. I was friends with his older sister, so I asked what she was up to now. He pulls up a video on his phone, and to my amazement it was her getting mouth fricked like no other. Dixie Comet is her stage name. I went to high school with a girl that did P under the name Nicole Ray. She seemed like a shy girl so was not expecting it. Not a pornster yet, but she's up and coming. Veronica Weston, and I was not in the least bit surprised when I found out. She was cool in school though. Girl in the grade above me who was incredibly quiet and shy, reasonably attractive. I had one class in HS with her and was pretty confounded when I found out. Was actually the daughter of my kindergarten teacher and I'm pretty sure they don't talk anymore. Friend showed me one video, felt pretty bad for watching. Went to high school with Molly May, I think that's how it's spelled. Didn't know her, but people who did know her weren't exactly surprised. Brianna Banks, in junior high, when that existed, she was a total sweetheart. She always dressed fairly conservative and was the nicest girl in the room, not to mention drop dead gorgeous. And of course I had a massive crush on her. High school, this is where she took a pretty harsh downward turn. Started dressing much sluttier and got around pretty quick that she would frick pretty much any guy who was halfway decent looking, which didn't include the short, scrawny nerd that was me of course. Fast forward 2 years and she starts dating a good friend of mine and gets these massive boob implants. She looked so much better without those things. Pretty shortly afterwards she started shooting P behind his back. So to recap, junior high, no I didn't think she would ever do P. High school, I pretty much thought it was inevitable. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.